Welcome to the Third Age. Welcome to Third Age Total War, rather. The Divide and Conquer submod. This has been suggested to me since it was released back in December, and I figured it's about time I gave it a try. For a bit, I thought I wasn't going to be able to do this actually because essentially Medieval 2 Total War kind of broke on me. And I determined eventually that I had to clear out all of its little artifacts from all the little artifacts out of the registry of my computer in order to get it running again. I don't know why exactly there's so many problems with Medieval 2 on Steam, but anyway, that problem's been rectified. So let us go. I've not played this mod too much, so this is largely gonna be a new experience for me. I have no idea how loud this music is, but it's a little loud in my ears, and it's not that high up. It's good music, though. Okay, apply the changes. Okay, back. Okay, what was I saying? Yes. I have not played this mod all that much, actually. I've downloaded it before, and I really didn't catch my interest because I was in the middle of Third Age. I was in the middle of the MOS playthrough of the Sylvan Elves, so I really didn't tackle it. Divide and Conquer's primary point, though, is, if you see here, to add a lot of factions, a lot of lore-accurate factions to Middle-earth in Third Age Total War. So let's just go through them real quick. We have the Kingdom of Gondor, led by Stuart Denethor II. I think we all know what Gondor is. The Principality of Dol Amroth, right about here, I believe. Led by Prince Adrahil. Is of course another kingdom is another realm within Gondor. In Third Age Total War, it's included as a part of Gondor. The Kingdom of Rohan, of course, under Theoden, King Theoden. Breland in the Shire under Council Master Barlam and Butterbur. I think that's self-explanatory. It's usually under the banner of the Free Peoples of Eriador. The Northern Dunedain, led by King Aragorn II. Those, of course, are also under the banner of Eriador in Third Age Total War, and the base game, and in MOS. The Kingdom of Dale under King Bard. That's not changed at all. Vale of the Anduin. This is barely represented. It's represented mostly in the presence of the Bjornings when you have good factional troops in the northern Anduin Vale, but it's otherwise not represented. Huntmaster Bjorn, he controls it. The dwarves of Erebor and the Iron Hills. Those are the dwarves, of course. They're the dwarves. The dwarves of Khazad-dûm under High Lord Balin are actually a very unique feature of this mod. I haven't tried them yet. I hear they were a little buggy last time, but I'm not entirely sure if it's been fixed yet, because some people complain that there's still problems. Others seem to have no problems. I'm not entirely sure. Let me just fix my settings on the bottom. And essentially, the dwarves of Khazad-dûm start with a few armies, I believe, and they have to march to Moria and try to retake it. They don't start with any proper starting location or anything. They just start from Erebor and march to Moria. It's a rather interesting mechanic. The dwarves of Ered Luin in the northwest rather, under Clan Lord Gore. Those are all under the umbrella of the dwarves in base Third Age Total War. Yes. The Grey Havens of Lindon, led by Haven Master Círdan, and the realm of Imladris, led by Elrond, are under the banner of the High Elves in the base game and have been split up in this mod. Then there's Thranduil's realm under King Thranduil, the Woodland realm, and Galadrim's realm under Lord Celeborn. And in base Third Age Total War, actually, the Woodland realm and Lothlorien are actually under the same banner of the Woodland Elves. And in MOS, they're split up, and here they're split up as well. Then we have the Vale of Dorwinion. They're actually good. They're actually good again. They're downstream from Dale and so forth, and kind of vulnerable to Rune and Mordor. And then we get on to the not so good factions. The Evil Men, the clans at Enedwaith. They're actually the allies of no one. They're actually purely chaotic, according to their own description. The Dunlendings, I think we all know who the Dunlendings are. Then we have the Orcs of the Misty Mountains. Those are self-explanatory under Uglag. I killed you my last game, and I enjoyed it. The Dominion of Isengard, of course. The Remnants of Angmar, the Orcs of Gundabad, as they're called in the base game. The Easterlings of Rune, of course. This mod actually splits up the Easterlings, which were in base 3rd Age Total War, are all under the single banner of Rune. They're now split up into Easterlings of Rune and the Barriegs of Khand. Khan Arkish here, okay. Then we have the Haven of Umbar and the Haradrim tribes in the south. Those have been split up as well. They were originally, Umbar and Harad were originally under the banner of Harad. And then finally we have the Shadow of Mirkwood and the Shadow of Mordor under Sauron and King Kamul. And those, of course, are under the banner of Mordor. So as you can see, we have a lot more complexity in Middle-earth this time around. I'm very interested in plays. I'm going to take a suggestion of one of my commenters for pretty much the entire run of my last 3rd Age Total War playthrough. Brett, I believe your name was. And I'm going to play as the Grey Havens of Lindon. So let's read this real quick. Starting location. Nestled safely in the far northwestern corner of Middle-earth, the Starford Lindon is a peaceful and gentle one. They have numerous provinces around the Gulf of Lune and can always flee to the safety of Londnir Naif, the haven of unnumbered tears. The arid Luine provide natural protection in their heartlands, and the sea also affords them great protection. Neighbors. The dwarves of Ered Luine, who begin on neutral terms with the powers of Mithlond, are immediate neighbors of Lindon. A little further east lies Breland, another neutral faction. Lindon's only ally, the realm of Eladris, is a long march away to the east. Lindon begins with no actual enemies, but the forests of Enedwaith are an aggressive faction a short distance south of Harland. Early expansion. There are numerous rebel elven provinces to the northeast of Lindon and some to the south. Military. I like this because it gives you a very nice overview of the faction you're going to be playing as. So you can decide what kind of start you want, because some of these factions are at a severe disadvantage. Some have really good starting locations, some have really crappy locations. Military. Lindon's force is dominated by heavy infantry and excellent archers, just like most elven factions. They are also a maritime nation and can build formidable ships to help them on their long journey to Umbar. And, by the way, for the record, yes, we have to eliminate the Cleanse of Enedwaith, the Shadow of Mordor, and the Haven of Umbar. We have to go from here, all the way up here in western Eriador, and have to take Umbar down here, and Mordor over here. Now, hopefully Gondor will handle some of Mordor on its own. Gondor and Dol Amroth combined will handle Mordor on its own. But in the event they don't, we're going to be in for a hell of a game, because we're starting all the way over here. I could see why Brett recommended this, because it's going to be a very unique play experience. It's not the usual attack all your borderlands and you'll be fine. We actually have to actively push on towards we have to actively travel the sea and head to Mordor, and Harad and Mordor. It's going to be crazy. Weaknesses. The elves have no desire for brutish castles and do not build above wooden. More localized to Lindon, it takes a very long time for them to field their best units, and they have very expensive units across the board. As they attained to the gates, Caradan the shipwright came forth to greet them. Very tall he was, and his beard was long, and he was grey and old, save that his eyes were keen as stars, and he looked at them and bowed, and said, "All is now ready." Caradan's ominous words. And if you've noticed as I was going through the various factions, a lot of this is not like movie stills or anything. It's actually artwork. A lot of this is artwork, and like Lord of the Rings artwork, and with the Tolkien aesthetic and everything. So it changes the look of the mod too. It's not the movie. It's less of the movie aesthetic and more, and more of the classic Tolkien look. And I like that too. So let's see. Very hard difficulty. Right. Again, manage all cities. Don't really like to do the governor thing. I don't know. I'm a micromanager, so it's annoying to me if I'm doing that. So let us begin. Opening movies for the High Elves, by the way.
wasn't too bad.
It's funny, really. Ever since I've read the Silmarillion, I finished reading a couple of weeks ago. Everything in Middle Earth has taken on a whole new meaning. You know, it's not that my perspective on Middle Earth was shallow. It's taken on new aspects. Grey Havens of Lindon. An ill-fated Beleriand amongst the excuse me, the Lyquendi, began the history of the Haven of Lindon, land of the singers. As the War of Wrath enveloped Beleriand, Círdan the shipwright gathered the survivors he had gifted with sanctuary upon the island of Valar. The swan ships bore them to the only surviving piece of Beleriand, that which became the Havens of Lindon, built by Iranian king of the Noldor in exile. Nestled south of the Blue Mountains, below shattered Nogrod, the Teleri fostered the Noldor and their own kin within as a haven. Within a haven, a safe place for the beleaguered, whose lives had been broken by the terrible war, whose aftermath saw an entire land sink below the Belegaer Sea. Sorry if I'm having a little trouble reading. I dropped my resolution to try and reduce the size of my videos, my recorded videos, and my eventual finished products, and it's kind of screwing with my eyes because it makes everything a little fuzzy. It's also why the screen may seem a little small. In the Second Age, there were two kingdoms of Noldor, that of Lindon and that of Eregion, known to many as Hollin, friend to the dwarves, where the rings of power were made. Eregion did not last, but Lindon survived. It was Elrond who, after the death of Iranian Igilgalad, founded Imladris, the only other haven for the most noble of elves. Most of the Noldor remain upon Middle Earth dwell in Lindon, as well as the Teleri, all under the leadership of Círdan. Whilst Elrond claimed the kingship, from the fallen Gil-galad, slain in the wars of the last alliance of men and elves, Círdan is the lord of the Teleri still, and his hand bore the ring Narya until he gifted it to Gandalf upon his arrival from Aman to aid his efforts on behalf of the Valar, testament to his belief in wisdom and in the hope in the Valar. The Havens of Mithlond... wish my scroll wheel was working. The Havens of Mithlond, as they are known, stand separated by the Gulf of Lune into Forlindon to the north and Harlindon to the south, whilst Mithlond... Wow, I am doing horribly. Sorry, people. Itself stands at the mouth of the river Lune. The beauty of Mithlond is immediately apparent in the white arches that cover all walkways between houses. The city is split between two parts, each of the side of the Lune River, a natural canal with the reflections of the sea. Here are the swan ships, a legacy of Beleriand, of Earendil's journey. He who sailed to the Undying Lands to bring the Valar to war, of Alquilande, the greatest port and most beauteous of the settlements in the Undying Lands. During this age, the third of the sun and moon, they bear away the strength of elves who shall never return. The White Tower... Stop it! The White Tower stands some distance from the cities, encroaching on the Shire, which wonders at their significance, and a visible reminder of the grace of the Noldor. Here is one of the Palantir, the Seeing Stones, where Círdan follows his longing and views only the Undying Lands to which many elves leave these shores, but which he does not. Perhaps it is comfort, perhaps grief, that drives him to see the lands of the Valar and the Vanyar. Those also, the Teleri and the Noldor, that dwell there, and the ones that return there in trickles of graceful sadness. Círdan built these towers to honor the kingdom of Arnor when it was at its most glorious. Trade here drifts in from the farthest communities. Even dwarves trade with the elves here in small kind. The swan ships bring goods from friends along the coast, up through the Gulf of Lune and into Mithlond. The Shire brings more economic growth and sustains them as if they were the breadbasket of Middle-earth. From the ruins of Arnor and distant Imladris come more rarities, and Dunedain visit occasionally with tales of distant events. Círdan knows that war will come to elves, and that his likely future is to send his troops to a war they are perhaps ill-suited to, given their lack of numbers. His armies are based around the modern ways of elven military, of speed and grace, but are also a testament to the strength of the Eldar who fought in the early wars of the Second Age. As ever before, their power unleashed will be both a grace to Middle-earth and a terrifying woe to their enemies, for the elves retain much of their former majesty in war. In the past, flowers bloomed where their lords walked, and the fire of Valinor in their eyes burned the orcs with the purity of righteous fury. The wonder and strength of the Noldor remains untested, but this will not last, for still they will fight, for some have not forgotten Middle-earth yet. That was long, but actually quite interesting. Alright, where do I start? I have Forlond, Harlond, Mithlond, and Lond Arthurin, I guess say it. A wandering people, the dwarves of Khazad-dûm. After losing their homelands and their capital, the people have begun to wander the earth without permanent residence. Though these people may never forget the lands they came from, they will have to find a home if they want to influence Middle-earth once more. Whether this is their original homeland or a foreign city, these people will wander until one is found. Alright, let's check out what we got here. Glorfindel. Okay, Glorfindel here in Círdan is in Mithlond, of course. Harlond is Beriadan. There we go. Iradan. Okay. I guess Sculptor's Workshop. Sculptors can be found almost every else home in a city that has placed home to a Sculptor's Workshop and will attract enough competent artists to beautify buildings in the region, making the effect of attending mass somewhat more profound. Oh, that's a generic description there. A slightly generic description. What mass are we talking about here? Okay, let's see what the status of our forces is. I've kind of ignored that. Okay, we have Teleri archers. We have some Teleri swordsmen here as well. More archers. And more archers. So our military forces are rather small to begin with. Lindon extends a far away, doesn't it? Oh! Ooh! Nearnath. Okay. Let's get some land clearance going here. Sweden? Okay, I don't have my little pronunciation key anymore, so I have to look it up again. Okay, so we have 5 regions actually. I thought we had only 4, but that's fine too. Let's alright, let's check to see. We started with about 800. We started with 8,000 gold. So let's just build some of the basics, some basic cheap stuff. Let's build a grain exchange here, for instance. You know, I don't want to build anything too expensive yet, but I want to get some construction started. Mithlond, grain exchange, and okay, they all have land clearance already. So let's give them another grain exchange. And that leaves us with 4,836. The only thing we have available, unfortunately, is Teleri swordsmen. So let's build them, I guess. Okay. It's good at math. Yay. Alright, so what we need, I think... Let me check. First we have our ships, right? The Palaran and Numiramar. Do we have anywhere we can build? No. I was hoping we could build spies somewhere, but we don't have any vineyards yet. Well, I guess what we'll... Okay, we're already building the swordsman. That will only take 1 turn, fortunately. Let's see. There's no real indication right now where I can invade. So I'm probably going to have to... Oh, okay, these territories are huge. That's not preferable, really, because it's going to make it harder to spread out, because I'm not going to know precisely where to go. In the meantime, though, let us select... Let's start moving Círdan to begin. Let's start moving Círdan to begin with.
Yes, my lord.
Hold on, let me check. Okay, I can't check him when he's in a city, right? So let's just select Círdan and his infantry. Actually, let's select his archers, because archers should be able to handle anything they run across. And let's move them north. Let's figure it out. Western Numeriador.
Elves, like the wind.
Trying to figure out where I can invade first. I don't.
Elves,
I'm not particularly familiar with northwestern Middle Earth here, so.
Sire.
What? I thought I selected the archer. Oh damn! I thought I selected the archers and I didn't notice. That was stupid of me. Okay, let's grab one archer group then and have them join the Haven Master.
Reinforcements.
And then we need to get town guards and everything because Glorfindel will be heading south before long. I guess in the meantime we're just going to okay, Okay, we should... No, we should... Let's keep our tax rate normal here so I don't forget when the land... Because if the land clearance goes through and I have a low tax rate, there's a chance that the governor here is going to get a bad stat, so... Anyway, sorry for a video where not much interest happened, really. But that's the break. There was a lot to read. I think it was a lot of interesting lore, really. So I think that was a good place to start. So, stay tuned for the next episode when I'm going to continue, and I'm going to figure out exactly how to spread out and increase my influence as the Elves of Lindon. So, I shall see you again in Middle-earth.